For nearly 2 decades, America woke up to Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, the charming married pair who co-hosted the nation's most watched morning television show, Daybreak Live. Their chemistry felt effortless, their laughter contagious, and their affection seemed to radiate straight through the television screen into millions of living rooms. To viewers, they were more than broadcasters. They were symbols of warmth, optimism, and the comforting belief that love could endure the pressures of fame, time, and scrutiny. So, when news broke that Kelly and Mark had quietly filed for divorce, the reaction was immediate and seismic. Social media feeds flooded with disbelief. Radio hosts interrupted playlists to discuss it. People stopped mid-conversation in cafes, stunned, repeating the headline aloud as if saying it might make it less real. It reverberated through the hearts of devoted fans who had grown up watching Kelly evolve from energetic entertainment correspondent to polished host, while Mark transitioned from respected journalist to household name. And yet, beneath the shock, there was an undercurrent of reluctant acceptance, because rumors of tension had drifted around the edges of their public image for months. But what truly startled the world was not the announcement itself, but what happened next. Mark, rather than disappearing from the spotlight or returning with flashy reinvention, chose a path nobody saw coming. He stepped forward with a tone more vulnerable than dramatic, more reflective than sensational. When he released his first public statement, the simplicity of his words resonated deeply. Some endings are just different beginnings. I am grateful for what was and open to what comes next. There were no accusations, no theatrics, no hints of scandal. Just a quiet honoring of the life they had shared, the children they had raised, and the audience that had supported them through the years. Millions felt a sudden, profound connection because his words echoed their own experiences of loss, transition, and resilience. Instead of indulging in distraction or spectacle, Mark withdrew into something rare for someone whose life had been lived under bright studio lights: intentional stillness. He devoted uninterrupted time to his 3 children, choosing hikes over headlines, quiet dinners over public appearances, and genuine presence over performance. Fans watched this shift unfold gently, like discovering the first signs of spring after a long winter. It reminded them that fame doesn't erase humanity, and that heartbreak doesn't negate family. But the world wasn't done being surprised by Kelly Ripa. Just when viewers believed they understood his post-divorce chapter, he made a bold and unexpected leap, one that had nothing to do with reclaiming relevance or overshadowing Kelly. He invested in a community innovation incubator focused on sustainability, mentorship, and social enterprise. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't designed for publicity, it was a personal exploration of purpose, identity, and growth beyond the narrative that had defined him for so long. Interviews emerged with young creators and entrepreneurs who spoke not about Kelly the celebrity, but Kelly the advocate, the collaborator, the quiet force helping others rise. Yet, even as the world celebrated his evolution, a lingering question remained. What about Kelly? The queen of morning television handled the news with composure that bordered on mythic. The morning after the announcement, she sat beneath the warm glow of the studio lights, greeting the audience with her signature sparkle. She discussed a rescued puppy story, shared a recipe mishap, teased an upcoming interview, never once referencing the upheaval unfolding in her personal life. Some mistook her silence for denial. Others recognized it as something far different. Kelly was reclaiming her narrative. She had spent years intertwining her professional identity with her partnership, blending the edges of marriage and career into one seamless public tapestry. Now she disentangled them, not with bitterness, but with boundary. Her refusal to offer vulnerability on command became a powerful statement. She would share when she chose, not when the world demanded. Over time, subtle shifts emerged, not dramatic, but unmistakable to viewers who knew her well. When she told a story about her oldest daughter, she would pause, offering a small, knowing smile that acknowledged change without naming it. When a guest referenced love or commitment, she would lift her eyebrows with playful irony, allowing the audience to connect invisible dots. She didn't deny the pain, but she refused to be consumed by it. Meanwhile, something few expected occurred. Though separated personally, Kelly and Mark remained professionally intertwined. Production contracts, joint media ventures, and long-term investments bound them together in ways that couldn't be neatly severed. Rather than wage war, they navigated the separation like seasoned executives, calm, methodical, deeply protective of the legacy they had built. It was a divorce, yes, but also an astonishing exercise in cooperation. As months passed, the public narrative shifted. Tabloids grew bored when no scandals emerged. Viewers stopped searching the edges of the screen for discomfort. A different energy settled over the situation, one rooted in respect, acceptance, and reinvention. Mark's transformation continued. He launched a documentary series exploring perseverance and discipline, intertwining personal philosophy with storytelling. He wasn't running from his past, he was reframing it. The work felt authentic, steady, grounded. He had become not a fallen star, but a man expanding beyond the boundaries of a life he had long outgrown. Kelly's journey unfolded differently, but with equal power. She leaned into her craft with renewed depth and clarity. Her interviews became more textured, her humor sharper, her presence more fully her own. Viewers commented that she seemed lighter, freer, more dimensional, like someone rediscovering herself after years of speaking in tandem. She wasn't rebuilding, she was rising. And at the center of it all were their children. 3 young adults standing firmly, shaped not by the fracture of their family, but by the strength with which their parents navigated change. There were no public feuds, no legal battles, no toxic leaks. Instead, here and there, photos surfaced, graduation ceremonies, art showcases, athletic milestones, where Kelly and Mark stood side by side, cheering, smiling, unified not as partners, but as parents. It became a quiet revelation to the world. Families don't always break. Sometimes they simply transform. In time, people stopped discussing the divorce as a tragedy and began discussing it as something else, a blueprint for dignity, maturity, and emotional intelligence. Kelly and Mark had become, inadvertently, ambassadors for a different kind of ending. An ending that wasn't really an ending at all. They showed that love can evolve without disappearing, that respect can survive separation, and that reinvention doesn't require destruction. Fans who had once mourned the loss of their favorite fairy tale came to understand something deeper. Fairy tales aren't meaningful because they never change. They're meaningful because they guide us through change. And that was the unexpected legacy Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos left behind. Not as a couple, but as individuals stepping into the next chapters of their lives with courage, Kelly, and unwavering humanity.